Hey, what up, decisive marketers? Have you ever worried that your website goes down, or maybe your funnel or landing pages goes down, and you don't know about it, right? And that's going to be very costly for you, not just in terms of money wasted, but opportunity cost as well. Because you are sending, maybe your Facebook ads, Google ads, to your website, but people are not able to access it, and you're just missing out on all these leads and customers that you could have them, right? So, and that's what today's tool is all about. It's going to help you and tell you when your website goes down. So this tool is called Netumo, right? It helps you to monitor the uptime of your website. It helps you to monitor the expiry of your domain names. It helps you to monitor also the your SSL certificate expiry as well. They also have a couple of different other features, such as testing for your website load speed, response time, look up a domain, and so on, right? But before I dive into Netumo, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like to see more digital marketing and e-commerce content. So here we are in Netumo. I have added two of my websites in here, and it's able to detect two certificates in here. Okay, and of course I think the domain monitoring will take a while before it is able to detect that, because I've only just added the second website in here. So it's able to monitor your website. But firstly, what I would recommend is to set up your notification settings. So Netumo is going to notify you via a couple of ways. It will notify you via SMS, Slack, email, Microsoft Teams, Telegram, Twitter, and webhook as well. So webhook, then you'll be able to do anything else that you want. So you want to set up your integrations right now, which would be your Twitter, your Slack, your Microsoft Teams emails, and your Telegram over here. And you can turn on or off all the notifications that you want right here, and how often do you want to receive some of these notifications as well. Okay, so there is a simple monitor right here, where it's a much simplified fields that you got to fill in, right? So you just put in the name, the protocol, and the URL, and then the HTML code if you want to monitor via HTML. So it has HTML monitoring that comes with it as well. So you could look up, for example, let's say critical error or something like that, and then it will inform you only not just when your website goes down, but also when there is a critical error that is being detected. Okay, and then you can monitor the SSL cert, and also the notifications that come in right here. So I'm just going to go to the advanced, because that's kind of what I prefer. Okay, so this is the HTML code field is used to verify that a return content is correct. In this box, enter some of the text written from the website page. The text should be entered as is view. Okay, and copy the text that you wish to from the HTML code. Okay, so so you can put in, for example, you can put in something like critical error, and what happens is that if there is this code detected, as in this text detected, is going to inform me that I have a critical error page. So because you could have a page that is suffering from critical errors, but the response time is still fast because the page is still loading. So you would think that your website is still working well, but it's actually having an error. So you might want to put this in as well. That's what I usually do. Okay, just in case you come across something like that. So you got to put in the put in your if you're monitoring your website, then you can put in your website in here, right? This is the name, right? And then what are you monitoring? Okay, then just put in your URL and what's the frequency. So it's 1 minute to 60 minutes. Okay. So compared to some other uptime monitoring tools out there, such as Better Uptime, Better Uptime, the good thing about it is that the frequency is 30 seconds, which is the shortest frequency that you can have, but the highest frequency is 30 minutes. So it is a good thing and a bad thing in the sense that most of the time you're not going to monitor 30 seconds because it's too fast, and sometimes maybe on a single load it takes a little bit too long to load, and it will register as a downtime as well. So personally, I don't monitor it that frequently. In fact, I would, for any website pages, right, I would just monitor them on a 60 minutes 30 minutes or 60 minutes frequency, because there's no need to test it so often, right? If you want to, if you're worried, maybe like 15 minutes, but anything more than that, like if it's a critical page, right, where it's like you're sending traffic to it, maybe 5 minutes or 15 minutes, and maybe 5 minutes, and then after another 2 or 3 minutes, if it's still down, then receive a notification. I think that's fine. uh and anything more, like 30 minutes, like any other pages that you have, your standard pages that you have, maybe 30 minutes, 60 minutes, I think that is fine, right? Because having higher frequency could slow down your website as well, because your server has to manage more visits. Okay. And if you're monitoring like 30 seconds on every single page, I think your server might not be able to take it, and it will slow down the performance on your website, right? So something like 30 minutes, 60 minutes would be a much better option for any other normal pages. Just that on your critical pages, you may want to load them on a higher frequency, right? Okay. And then your HTTP credentials, if there's any, and then your notifications, where you want to set it up, when you want to notify yourself, so you can put then like immediately or after a couple of minutes, right here, right? So you don't so what happens is that if there is a downtime and then you don't receive the notification immediately, it will just check it again just to make sure that okay, there's still a downtime, then you receive a notification, right? And then you can manage, these are the ones that I've added. You can then edit them if you want to, and you can put them all in a group, right, to group them into, let's say, different assets, right? And one thing cool about Netumo is that Netumo's limits are actually based on the domain itself. So you can actually have unlimited monitoring on one particular website itself. So one particular domain, it counts it as like one domain, and you can have unlimited website. So you can actually monitor every single page on your website itself, and it's only counted as one domain. So that's the good thing about Netumo, right? And you can also monitor REST endpoint, right? So you have any API that you want to make sure that they are working, you can also add monitoring of these endpoints right here, right? Okay. um and then you also, once you've added your sites, automatically, right, it's going to detect SSL cert. So one thing that I really like about Netumo is that in terms of the UI UX wise, uh, Netumo is really smart in the sense that when whichever sites that you add into Netumo, it grabs the SSL cert and it shows it in this particular uh, menu item right here. So you can see all your SSL cert in one single location. Whereas if you use something like Better Uptime, they don't actually, put them together. So you got to click in and look at the SSL expiry yourself, which is not a good thing, as in it's not as convenient, I would say. And then for your and also once you have added your sites in here, it's going to monitor your domains as well, domain expiry. So it will automatically be added in this page right here as well, because I've added the second domain just much earlier, so it's not detected yet to add into this list here, so it will take some time. And then you will be able to see, so you want to add more domain monitor, you can do so as well. Just put in your domain name, and then you can fetch the whois data, and it will pull in the registrar and the registrar information for you, so you can monitor them, right? And then you'll be able to see any reports for your websites, right? And you can see, okay, this is my response time, this is my uptime. If it's already checked 273 times and it's working, that's what it's saying right here. And it checked 98 times on the 20th, and then 96 times on the 21st, right? And then he has already checked 16 times for today, and it will tell you also your uptime and downtime. So it's all uptime right here, right? So it's working well, right? And then these are some of the advanced reports. Okay, so this is basically when it is checking what's the HTTP response, right, which is 200, right, which means that it is up. And then any downtime analysis. So but I don't really have any, so it shouldn't show anything right here. Okay, so 0 downtime. Okay, and then your response time analysis. So this one will tell you like how fast your site is loading. Okay, so it's actually loading most of the time. It's loading fast. Okay, and then on this date itself, there's one slow load, right? So sometimes it's about 3 seconds, sometimes it can go up to about 6 seconds, but on average it's about, I think, 4 seconds or so. Okay, and then the uptime statistics. Okay, so you can look that up as well. So it's 100% uptime. Okay, so site is working well. And then so one cool thing is that they have just released this status page. So what happens is that you can create a page to tell people that your website is actually loading well, right? Your website is actually up, right? What is the uptime of your website right here. Okay, so you just need to put in your page name. So okay, so you can check availability, so this name is available, and you can set up your custom domain if you want to. You can put it under a website group, and then the banner text. Okay, and then the banner text color, you can upload your own custom banner image. So this may be like your logo. Okay, so let's say the logo, so you can put in here, and then the background color. Okay, and then any custom CSS, custom HTML. Okay, so only basic HTML is allowed, so you can put snippets in here as well, or you can have Twitter feed as well, so that you can create a status page here. So then let's take a look at this status page. Okay, So there we go, right? So this is the status page. So it says, okay, there's no issue. Okay. So and then you also have they have some tools right here. So for example, like your website speed test. Alright, so you can test your website loading speed. And then you can look up a page source. You can check the whois, your NS lookup, domain check, and so on, right? So so the website is relatively fast. Okay, so next is the whois, right? You can put in the domain below, and you can check the whois, right? So this is the information of my site, and then I can look up the page source as well. So one thing cool about Netumo that I feel is that right, I can look up all the you know, my page source right here, and then NS lookup, domain checks, and so on. Right. So one thing cool about Netumo is that they also add other tools in here, that nifty tools that you can make use of with Netumo, right? So like for example, if you use, right, so this is the NS lookup, and then like your domain check, right? I can see the domain details, and then country of IP address. So you can put in the your IP address, and it'll tell you where the country is. Okay. So one thing about Netumo versus for example better uptime is that better uptime really just focuses on uptime. It just makes sure that your website is loading and informs you as soon as possible. Whereas for Netumo, they do place an emphasis on your website response time as well. That means how fast your website is loading, and not just on the uptime itself. Because you could be loading, but it takes a long time to load, and that could also affect your conversion rates, your bounce rates, and so on, right? You could be missing out on a lot of visitors or customers or leads, just because your site is loading slow, right? Because when you first set up your site, it could be loading well, but once you start sending traffic into it, or maybe there is some kind of viral post that went on, and people start coming into your website, it is going to slow down your website, right? Because your server may not have the resources to support this amount of traffic, but it is still going to be registered as a uptime, but your site could be loading slow. So I think that's where that Tumo's value is compared to, for example, better uptime, right? And they also have a bunch of other features that it comes with it, and it also is able to monitor HTML, right? So so for example, you can monitor a competitor's website. For example, you monitor Amazon, your Amazon competitors, your Shopee competitors, your Lazada competitors, your Flipkart competitors, for example, and you can monitor their prices. So whenever there is a change, Netumo can inform you that there is a change in the price. Netumo can inform you when their products went out of stock, for example. So if they go out of stock and it's a huge competitor that of yours that went out of stock, then maybe you might want to increase your Amazon PPC, or your ads, whatever, to get more customers over your competitors, right? So that's something to take note of. I think that Netumo is a great value right now. In fact, they have a plan that gives you unlimited domains and unlimited unlimited monitoring, unlimited everything, right? So I think that Netumo is an awesome tool. The UI looks great as well. It may come across slightly challenging because they do ask you for some a little bit more complex or complicated information, but I would say as a whole, I think that Tumo is still relatively easy to use, and they also have knowledge base and to help you along, right? You can also contact support for them to help you into using that Tumo itself, and pretty much that's all I have to share. I think this is a great value. Be sure to take advantage of this right now, especially that they have a Black Friday offer right now. So that's all I have about Netumo. If you enjoy this video, do give me a thumbs up. If you know anyone who could benefit from a website monitoring tool, whether it's on your own website or your competitor's website, right, be sure to share this video with them. And lastly, let me know what you think about Netumo in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video.